Yeah, I am finally back from my cruise, and low-key, I want to go back on my cruise because why did I go down to Cabo and I stayed in Cabo 2 days, okay, and then went up to Ensenada and came back to LA, and I'm like, why is it hotter in LA than at any point of my cruise? It's literally 92 degrees right now. I have the fan on blast. If y'all hear that in the background, I am so sorry, but I don't want my tetas literally like sweating this whole entire time because it is so freaking hot. I'm like, what's up with this heat wave right now? And I got filming to do. Yo, I feel like I've been out of the loop for so long because, as you guys know, I didn't purchase the internet package. So I'm like, as soon as I went back onto social media, I was like, oh my gosh, we got this person breaking up with this person unfollowing this person, and so much happening that I genuinely thought that I missed so much from the Love Island reunion. But y'all, literally, as soon as I got off the cruise and as soon as I got home, I put on the reunion, okay? And I gotta let you guys know, and maybe this is a hot take, I feel like that reunion was whack as hell. I thought it was so boring and so dull and anticlimactic. I was sitting over here expecting it to be like, 90 Day Fiance reunions or Real Housewives reunions, and it was just so lackluster. If I'm being honest, okay? I feel that people were low-key kind of like scared to give their real true opinions and kind of like, if they have this negative opinion about somebody, they were scared to almost say it because they were probably like, damn, I don't want this person or that person's fan base attacking me online, because I really do think they see the power of social media now, because obviously they went into that villa as like normal people and they came out as massive celebrities to where people in airports and bars and stores are freaking going crazy over them. So I really do think that they were kind of like scared to give their full authentic opinions because they're probably scared to have any type of backlash, which I totally understand. Y'all know I've said it before. I'm like, oh my gosh, like sometimes I was scared there for a couple years of like cancel culture because I was like, oh my gosh, this person's getting canceled, that person's getting canceled, and I'm a very opinionated person and I talk a lot of shit and I joke around a lot. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get canceled. Thank God this year I worked on being back to my full authentic self, because I'm like, now I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. That's my opinion. If you hate me for it, oh well, I don't really give a shit. If you call me this, if you call me that, I don't really care. My opinion's my opinion. And I do think at the end of the day, even if that does put you into some hot water, I still think it is better to hold true to your opinion. You know what I'm saying? But I could totally understand where they're coming from, because obviously, I'm over here just saying that with my, my little channel over here, my little 150,000 followers. And I'm like, damn, can you imagine them, that they're like millions of people watching them? So I totally get it, but I do feel like they were scared, okay? And if I'm keeping it real with you guys, the one who I thought was like the most scared, sorry, is Ace, who we're going to be talking about today, because he is calling out Nic and Olandria and saying that their relationship is giving fake, okay? And the reason why I said I think he was scared is because before even finishing this video, okay, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go on to TikTok really fast or go on to Peacock really fast and watch him within his, conversations with people. His voice was shaking, okay? It seemed like his voice was like, I don't know the exact word, or if there's an exact word for it, like when you're scared to talk about something and your mouth kind of jitters and your voice kind of cracks a little bit because you're kind of like scared to talk about it. I was like, why is he scared? Literally when I was watching it, okay? And this was before I even saw the clips that we're going to be talking about today of him on a podcast. I was like, why is he scared? It seems like he's like really scared to like speak towards Huda or speak towards, somebody else. It seems like he was, trepidatious about the things that he was saying. And I was like, sir, you were talking a big ass game while you were on TikTok live saying, oh, I'm going to dress all these people in person. I don't do this internet shit. We're going to handle it in person. He was talking all big, bad, and tough. But then you're over here and your voice is cracking like you're scared to speak up. I'm sorry. I was like, sir, you need to have a little bit more balls than that, because if you're going to be talking about that on live, keep the same energy when you're in person. You know what I'm saying? Especially at a reunion. Anyways, y'all, we're going to be talking about him and his whole situation with Nic, which I was going to play some clips about him talking about Nic, but I did want to talk to you guys about this because apparently he was even saying that like him and Nic aren't like besties, they're not close like that, and Nic has been hyping him up. He even, I don't know if he ended up getting a real tattoo, I just saw a picture that I guess he had NIC tattooed in the same exact style as Ace has tattooed on his back, and he's always hyping him up in the comments, he's hyping him up in the chat. But I guess apparently Ace was saying no, Nic is not a real friend like that, and he didn't have his back when it came down to him getting backlash and being called a ringleader. However, I do have to say, if you guys paid attention in the reunion, Charlie Charlie actually had said, well, I don't know if I would call him the ringleader, but he was wanting to know everybody's moves while not sharing his moves, which obviously does give that, ringleader type of vibe of like he's calculating everyone else's steps here before he makes his steps. And it seems like, oh, he's being a little performative. He's being a little calculated. You know what I'm saying? Also, speaking of which, too, I don't know if you guys saw, this has nothing to do with Nic and Ace or Olandria. But y'all, a fan had posted a picture that I had taken a screenshot of, I want to say it was in January of 2024, that Shelly and Nic were actually on live with other people. So apparently when it came down to the reunion, it was obviously a question that Andy Cohen, I believe, or maybe it was Ariana that had asked. I don't remember who asked the question of, hey, like, it's been rumored out there that you guys known each other, and there were pictures that I guess Nic, or Ace, sorry, had liked from 2022, and they're like, no, this is not true, because there is so much speculation out there that Nic, oh my gosh, why do I keep saying Nic, that Ace and Shelly had a relationship before even going on the show, and basically they used this opportunity to kind of like, grow an internet presence, which I'm starting to find a little suspicious, especially when somebody had came out with this photo from 2024. I want to say it was January of 2024, which was way before they were even filming. So I have to say, I thought it to be a little bit weird that they're on TikTok live together. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, that's all besides the point. I want to say this before getting into the whole drama between like, Nic and Olandria versus Ace is, I think it's a little bit shady that Ace is out here talking all this smack about Nic and Olandria when Olandria and Shelly are supposedly like besties. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, wait, why are you throwing all this shade at them? But then Olandria and Shelly are supposed to be close. Like, why isn't Shelly like speaking up for, you know what I mean, for their situation to be like, hey, stop talking about them because, hey, they really do have a relationship going or whatnot. Because, y'all, okay, here's the big bombshell over here, is Ace is getting out there and he's alleging that their relationship is fake. Now, I do want to say this, okay, and I hate to be a know-it-all ass bitch, but if you guys have watched my Love Island videos from the jump, I have said I really do feel that Nic and Olandria are just, I don't want to say forcing themselves to be together, but probably have realized that they can really make some good money by kind of like faking a relationship together. Now, I got to keep it real with you guys. You guys can call me fake as hell, but I'm always going to keep it real, even if it is me, being performative or calculated or whatever the fuck the case is. I feel, okay, if I was put in their situation, I would do the same thing. Sorry, I really would. I said that from the jump. I still feel like that now. I really do feel like if, say, for example, there was a gay Love Island version out there and America really loved me with this other person, but I didn't see them in a romantic way, but then everybody loved us together and I'm like, hey, actually, we really do get along like besties. Let's go ahead and act like we're, into each other because we can get brand deals, we can do commercials, we can do photo shoots together and all these different collaborations and really make a living off of this. Why wouldn't I do it? You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, at the end of the day, if they really do have like a bestie friendship, I don't really see the big problem in that. Like, yes, low-key, it is a little bit manipulative that you're out here manipulating your audience into thinking that you guys may actually be developing a love connection, and I get how that could be a little bit shady. However, I do feel like on the other hand of it, if you can build, all of these brand deals and collaborations, like, why not run with it? You know what I'm saying? However, I still do think, in my personal opinion, I do think that they could still build, that relationship with these brands and things like that, as in having like a bestie relationship, because I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know what I mean? Obviously, America loved them together, so what's the big deal if they do genuinely have a good connection, but it's just not a romantic connection? And by the way, I do have to say too, I did see them on a podcast, and the podcast host had asked them, oh, so like, what do you guys define your relationship as? And Nic said that they don't define it as boyfriend and girlfriend, but they're kind of exploring where things are going. Like, they're basically seeing how their connection develops, okay? Which I do have to say, it does seem like a good answer. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously it's letting people know, well, no, we're not officially together. However, we're just testing the waters and seeing where this could actually go. I gotta say this. One, I do think that Ace didn't really have the balls to say what he wanted to say in person, because low-key he would have said that at the reunion. He would have been like, nah, you guys are obviously seeming like you guys aren't really together, especially when they were being asked questions by the host of how their relationship has developed. You know what I mean? As soon as Nic and Olandria were talking about themselves, Ace could have been, nah, I feel like you guys are low-key kind of fake. Like, you guys are actually just acting like you're together just to, get the brand deals, get the followers, and get the, America's sweetheart type of title. Do you know what I mean? And he obviously didn't do that. So I do want to go ahead and play a first clip right here from where he was on this podcast talking to this guy and saying, no, it's giving fake. Check it out.
Do you feel like Olandria and Nic's relationship is real? Is this you thinking, or is this your answer? I'm going to assume that that's your answer.
Mm-hmm.
Is that tough for you because Olandria is someone that you consider to be a close friend?
Yeah, it really is tough for me because again, she just came out here for Shelly's birthday and we all spent a time together at the club and we all kicking and shit like that. So I have a lot of respect for Olandria. But again, from the last conversation that I've had with Nic, it was a matter of it's not a romantic spark. They just you know what I'm saying, they find each other attractive.
Nic and Olandria's relationship, you've expressed in silence, you've expressed your opinions on that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that the other relationships that have come from Love Island are real?
Yeah, Taylor and Clark, I know that's for sure real.
And the other ones, not so much, or?
I'm not even going to say that I disagree with him, you know what I mean? Because I could kind of see those signs too, that maybe they don't really have that romantic type of relationship, you know what I'm saying? Although I do think that they really make a beautiful couple, especially they looked really good at the reunion. I was like, oh my gosh, like they look really, really good and coordinated together. But I definitely could see what Ace is getting at. Do you know what I'm saying? I could see how their relationship definitely does seem, like it is like, okay, let's put it together for the show. But I do want to go ahead and say this and throw this out there, okay? Because I feel like America is losing touch of reality here. How many celebrity couples have been forced together by their PR teams? Y'all, how many couples have been put together so that way they could grow their fan base? Like, y'all, it's been rumored for years that like Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello were like put together for a PR move, and just countless other couples out there. So I don't know. I'm not going to say like, I don't know. I don't see anything wrong with it. I really don't. Like, honestly, because the way I view it as in like, oh, well, what if they're besties and they really get along good and they get these brand deals? Like, why not? And I'm sorry. Like I said, call me a fake bitch. That's fine. I would do it too. I really would. Like, if I, saw this person as like, a bestie, you know what I mean? I'd be like, well, I mean, hey, if we could get these brand deals up out of it, you know what I mean? I do got to keep it real though. Like, I couldn't keep it lasting long. Like, I eventually would slip up and be like, oh, I see him as a bestie. You know what I mean? But I would be like, at first, like, hold up, wait, we're going to get this brand deal. We're going to get that brand deal. Like, who's going to want to miss out on all that money? Especially because they're like in a Nick's commercial now. I think they were in like, I forget what other type of commercial, but I seen him in a couple different commercials and I was like, well, damn. Anyways, after that had went down, a lot of people on the internet were pressed because they were saying, wait, this is Shelly's man right now. And supposedly, allegedly, Shelly and Ace are like really together and they're really in love. And I gotta say, low-key, it obviously seemed like they had something going on beforehand, especially as soon as you start adding up all the pieces here. It's like, maybe they really are together, but low-key, you could also call them fake too, because did y'all just go on the show just to gain a following? Because that obviously could be fake too. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, a lot of people were pressed though because they were saying, wait, Olandria stuck up for Shelly, but how come Shelly's not sticking up for Olandria and Nic and telling Ace, hey, stop talking about them, drop it, like, why are you calling them out for being fake? You know what I'm saying? By the way, you guys are going to see in another video, I feel like Ace had a lot to say on this podcast. I was like, where was all this energy on the reunion? You said that you don't do this internet stuff and you're over here talking about all these people behind their back on a podcast, but as soon as you had the opportunity to do it in person, you didn't. And by the way, that was filmed, that podcast, the clip that you guys saw, that was filmed after the reunion, okay? Anyways, I do want to go ahead and point this out that Olandria did post onto her Twitter account or X account. The way I still call it Twitter, y'all, I just don't. I can't get behind X. That shit's stupid. Anyways, she wrote, child, anyway, ... my event at, I can't even pronounce this, Tuskegee, went amazing yesterday. And everybody literally was saying, oop, is this at Ace? Because it was blowing up the fact that he was, being trending on Twitter, as well as there was so many clips going around of his podcast on TikTok. So I do think that she saw it, but here's where everything gets very, very convoluted. Is that the right word? Look at me using big words here. I think that everything is getting convoluted because the podcast host was actually on live and he was alluding to the fact that there's more to this story, that Ace had told him things not on record, okay? Here's where I get pissed though, because I'm like, wait, if Ace is over here having a big ass mouth and spilling all the tea and talking about all these people, why didn't he just say what happened behind the scenes? Because I'm gonna play another clip from this guy, Speedy, I think his name is, yes, Speedy, saying, no, like, if you guys only knew the information that I was told off record, while the cameras weren't rolling, maybe then you guys would believe it, which I'm like, Why don't you just put it out there, or why doesn't Ace just put it out there? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, Ace low-key already looks bad. He looks like a bad friend because he called Nick out for basically saying that he was not a real friend to him. And obviously, in kind of like conjunction to Shelly, he's looking bad because now he's making Shelly look bad because now it looks like Shelly don't have Olandria's back. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, y'all, if Shelly and Olandria were really good friends, and Olandria really was kind of like, oh, you know what, like, I don't see Nick like that, but we are kind of like faking it, then yeah, she should keep that secret and not have her man put it out there. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm like, go ahead and spill the beans then, because either which way, now you already look bad because you're saying, oh, there's more to the story, but you're not saying that on the podcast, but then you're saying, no, they are a fake couple. Come on. Anyways, I want to go to play this clip right here. Check it out.
Here's what I do want to say, and this will be the last thing. I want you all to consider that maybe, just maybe, people are allowed to feel how they want to feel, especially when they have information that you don't have. So today you may have seen a clip, or you may have seen a portion of an interview, when someone was asked if they felt as if a relationship was real. And while you are absolutely entitled to have your opinion on that, I do want to say that some people may have more information than you have. They may know things that you don't know. They may be aware of things that transpired that you don't know. They may have seen and witnessed things that you have not seen. That's it. That's all I want to say. So you may see somebody say, or you may see somebody have an opinion on a relationship. I would just say maybe, just maybe, they know something that you don't. Because if what I was told off camera is true,
there y'all saw from right there that he is basically alluding to the fact that Ace told him way more off of camera, and that's where I'm just kind of like, okay, spill the beans then, sir. Spill the beans, because we want to know, obviously, at the end of the day, if they're faking it, throw it out there. But also, too, I'm just saying, Nick and Olandria could flip the script and make it look like Shelly and Ace were being fake too, and that they were really in a relationship before even going into the villa, and they just so happened to both get, you know, casted onto the show, which, by the way, there's a lot of people on TikTok saying casting of this specific season didn't do a good job, because how did casting not know that they had already, you know, been friends on social media, that they have been live together on TikTok before, that he's liking pictures from 2022, and yes, I know Andy Cohen, like, said within the reunion, well, maybe Ace was scrolling through his pictures and just liking them, but I'm like, what are the odds of that, especially when they said that they met later on in 2024, but then there's a picture of them being live together on TikTok in January of 2024. Like, come on, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, make sure you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions about everything. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, Girl Scout.